Hello, web world, and welcome to another quick brief. Today is April the 2nd, and my name is Frank. And I'm sorry for being a little bit out of reach for a little bit, but I had some personal stuff going on, but I'm back. And what I'd like to do is go over the top 10 global consumer trends for 2011, some interesting things that I found that are going on. First off, there's the year of the big idea. There's a lot going on when it comes to a sluggish economy, and what marketers seem to be doing is starting to jumpstart things back into the way they were a few years back, or at least doing more things to get the momentum going for consumers to start spending again. It seems like things are getting better with the economy in the past few months at the beginning of this year, just like in my other videos that I've done for you. So it seems like they're going to continue to do this over the next year. And since it's April already, going into, what is it, the second quarter, that these things will continue to happen. Another thing that's going on is this hybrid brow, or things, or combinations of things where different types of demographics will be starting to get into more, or have different types of personal care and cleaning care products, especially like smartphone platforms that are morphing into different applications, will continue to morph into different things, into either hybrids of something or a combination of something. And also it seems that in the biomass market, or where consumers are uncertain about the cost of food and energy, that they'll be trying to reduce their exposure to the grid. So, and they'll also start to be growing their own food. There's a lot going on right now in cities where people are having their own little gardens, either in vacant lots or on their rooftops. And I've even seen, when I used to work at the Discovery Store, we have this little planter that has a UV light on it, where you can actually grow like tomatoes and different types of herbs and stuff in your apartment. And so the consumers seem to be more aware of this, and that they can do this, and that they have more, at least, opportunity to do these different things. So you'll see a lot of that going on too, and I'll keep up with that, especially when it comes to food and energy costs, because I know around the world that costs of food and energy are going up like tremendously. So also there'll be, consumers are more going to be into fresh from the vine, not necessarily just organic foods, but also pre-processed foods. And it looks like there'll be like a little bit of a mix-up and a little bit of confusion about these different things. I'm more into organic. I like things that are fresh, that don't have a lot of processed foods in them, and don't have a lot of bad stuff in it. So maybe this will play out a little bit to where consumers become a little bit more informed about the two different things, or at least healthy processed foods. And touchy-feely, like what's going on when it comes to more touchscreen technologies that are coming out, and shifting from, rather than keyboards, to touchscreens. And also different types of products when it comes to clothing, and mixes of things going on that consumers will have at least opportunity to have in the future. And these things will continue to go into 2011, where you have a lot more exposure to these different types of things. So also phone visits, this is really important. Now there are either going to have, or will have, applications to where you can make a phone visit to your physician or to your practitioner, where you have an app on your phone on here, and you can use a sensor, or you can use the app to monitor different things going on with your body, send it instantly to your physician. He can diagnose it and prescribe something to you without even having to go into his office. So this is very interesting, and I'll keep in up with this as well. And this generational rumble between the millennials and baby boomers, where both of those generations, at least in the US, seem to be having trouble with, employment. I know people are out of work for 18 months or more, and also college kids too having a hard time finding work. So this will play out for the rest of the year as well, and we'll see what happens, especially when the unemployment rate has dropped to 8.8% at least a couple of days ago in the US. So it's getting a little bit better, but you still have problems when it comes to both generations, and having a little bit of showdowns, or maybe standoffs and conflicts between the two generations, but we'll see about that. and then also to the barricades when it comes to unfairness, and also people feeling that they need the freedom to express themselves around the world, as you've seen on the news lately in Libya, in Egypt, in Syria, in Bahrain, and Qatar, and all these different places where people are rising up because they're sick and tired of being pushed around and they want freedom. They've had the exposure to freedom on the net, so, and through social networks like Facebook and everything like that, and freedom of information, they want more of it. They know and are being educated about the rest of the world. Now they want a piece of it, and I think that's really good and important. But it's going to be a really interesting play on what's going to happen in the next year to see where this goes. And this is really important. Number 9 here: rich man, poor man, middleman gone, with the middle class virtually disappearing. And I've asked this question before of exactly why and they're disappearing, and it seems the answer would be is that there's a shift between the middle class, or like blue collar workers, to where there's a reduction in who these people are, which is apparently a bad thing because it's a buffer between the rich and the poor, or at least the two extremes, where in the US at least you have uh, a manufacturing economy, and that's pretty much going away because it's leaving the country because either companies here can't compete or because they're not keeping up with the change, are unable to keep up with the change. And another reason is you have some of these blue collar workers becoming more educated and being paid more, at least earning a higher income. So what they're doing is they're not just disappearing, they're just moving in either direction because the rate of pay isn't increasing over the last decade or so, a number of years, and a whole bunch of reasons. So I want to keep in tune with this as well, and also where this can cause conflict as well. And as I said before, it's a buffer between any kind of tension and any kind of conflict or things going on between those two extremes of really rich and really poor. So, and also it can affect an economy too. So go more into this. So the last thing is the World Tight Web, where it seems that governments in different places of the world are tightening people's access to the web, or making laws to make it tighter, or these other countries are cutting their own people off from exposure to the web. So, and also these limited social networks, of what exactly that means. So let's see what this is about, if governments are going to start restricting what we have exposure to, even though I believe that the freedom of the web should be absolute, that you can go anywhere, see anything, get any information that you want, and express anything you want and say anything you want through the web. So that's my quick brief for today. I thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye-bye.